Good morning, everyone. A good tavach, Shavua Tov. We are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz HaChaim in his Sefer Mitzvah HaKotzar. Today is Mitzvah's Lo Yisaseh, the negative commandment, Samechei, number 65. Al Hadayan Shelo Lishmoya Tainis Baladin. The judge cannot hear the argument of one party in this lawsuit, Shelo Bifnei Baldin Chaver, without being in front of the other party. You cannot have a plaintiff and a defendant, and one is standing by himself in front of the judge, and he begins to share his case, and the other one is not going to be around. Shenemar, like it says, Leisisa Shema Shav. It says, do not take up a false report. V'chein baldin muza shelo yashmi dvar v'dayin kodim sheyavo baldin chaveroi. And that means to teach us that if you have a litigant, he is being warned over here. He should not state his case, or his words should not be heard to the judge before the baldin, before the other litigant comes into court. Ukari Bey Loisasi, that's called the Issa of Loisasi, which means you shall not take up, meaning that you shall not cause to be taken up your case when the other person is not there. So it's twofold over here. The judge has an obligation not to allow this to happen. Everybody has to be in court when the case is being presented. The defendant and the plaintiff, the two litigants, must be standing before the judge, so that the judge will not end up hearing out one side over the other, and there'll be a significant lapse of time before the other one is able to present his case, and perhaps he already made up his mind and he's siding with the first party. So number one, the judge cannot allow such a thing, and number two, the litigant himself, if he comes to court on his own, he's not allowed to give forth that testimony or his information, because that would also be a transgression. Ubichlal labzeh, included in this prohibition, is also shalol lekabel v'shalol lesaper lashon hara. It's also a prohibition of not accepting and not telling over lashon hara, evil speech and gossip. That's one thing that's included in there. And also, v'shalol la'oid edu sheker, also a person is not allowed to give false testimony if they are a witness. So this one prohibition over here of Loisisa Shema Shav includes many different things. V'noig b'chol mokom b'chol zman. It is something that applies everywhere all the time. B'dayonim, when it comes to the judges. U'bebali dinim, and when it goes according to the litigants. Zecharim u'nekevais, that is referring to men and to women. Everybody is obligated in this prohibition. And then the next mitzvah, Loisasei Samich Vav, 66, Shelo l'rachim al ani badin. A judge is not allowed to have mercy on a poor person when it comes to judgment in some kind of a court trial. Shenemar v'dal le'seda b'rivai, like it says in the verse, you cannot show favor to a poor man because you want to take up his cause. V'nemar le'sisa p'nei dal, and it says furthermore in the verse, you cannot respect the poor more than you respect those that are doing just fine monetarily. What does that mean? Shelo yoymar adayin, the judge cannot say to himself, Anihu, Nebach, this guy is poor. We have an obligation. The truth is, the city has an obligation to be mefarnes, to provide him with his sustenance. We have to support him. So what should I do? As a kenubadin, so I have a great idea over here. He's standing in front of me with a litigant, and he's claiming that this person owes him $1,000, and his litigant is saying, no, he doesn't, I don't owe him a penny. So as a kenubadin, let me rule over here that the poor man is justified and he's right in the judgment. Kadeshi is farnes benekius, then he'll end up getting paid off. He'll get a salary over here. He'll get $1,000. He didn't have to beg. He didn't have to come to the Toimche Shabbos to tzedakah to get his money. So what could be better? He has a case. The case can accrue him a lot of money. Let me just rule in favor of him, and that way the city will take care of his obligations as well. Chalila says the Torah, you're not allowed to do such a thing. That's called being dishonest in judgment, because you have rachmanis on this poor man. So therefore, you should blasphemize the judgment that you're going to have. No, you can't do such a thing. If in fact the case rests with the well-to-do man, so he deserves to win because that's tzedek, that's righteous judgment. If it rests with the poor man, then you give it to him. But Chalila, says the Torah, you can't give over the judgment in the favor of the poor man just because you want to take care of his parnasa, his livelihood. This is something that applies everywhere, all of the time. How careful a judge must be to make sure that his judgment, like the Gemara says, is emes la'amitai, is the absolute truth. Have a wonderful day.